Welcome to video 5 in this extensive series about the cosmic clock. Today we'll talk about the last quadrant of the cosmic clock, the physical or Earth quadrant. If you haven't watched the previous videos in this series yet, I recommend you do that first, because otherwise you might have some trouble understanding the content of this video. Okay, let's get started. To better understand the physical quadrant of the cosmic clock, let's start with the Earth element. Elizabeth Clare Prophet, author of the book Predict Your Future, Understand Your Cycles with the Cosmic Clock, writes, and finally, the Earth element itself gives us a sense of the bedrock of reality, of the highest focus of God and the great central sun, of an Earth that is not an Earth that we hold in our hands, but an Earth that is the solidness of the consciousness of God. After having gone through the etheric, mental, and emotional quadrants, we've arrived at the physical aspect of the consciousness of God, as Elizabeth Clare Prophet just explained. Here it really gets tangible and concrete. In this quadrant, we are in the energy of fall. We've come out of the summer and are going towards the winter, which starts over again in the etheric quadrant, the first quadrant of the cosmic clock. In between, there's the fall. It's the season where we reap the harvest of what we've sown in the course of the year. In terms of the cosmic clock, that means the good and the bad karma we've set in motion in the previous quadrants of the clock. Now, in the physical quadrant, all that energy crystallizes and shows us how we've done. And then, once we've taken an inventory and learned from our good and not so good decisions, the energy goes dormant, and we prepare to start the cycles of the cosmic clock all over again on the 12 o'clock lines. Now that we understand the energy of this quadrant, it's time for the individual lines of the clock. Let's start with the 9 o'clock line, which is literally the line of manifestation. Think about it. 9 is a very important number when it comes to manifesting. On a 12 o'clock line in the etheric quadrant, everything starts with an idea or concept. That idea then cycles through the first 9 lines of the cosmic clock, until we begin to see results on the 9 o'clock line in the physical quadrant. As you can see in this diagram, the astrological sign of Libra is on the 9 o'clock line. The divine quality of this line is God reality. Here we learn to discern the difference between what's real and what's unreal. Obviously, the opposite of God reality is human unreality, which can manifest in many different forms. Elizabeth Clare Prophet explained this nicely in the often mentioned Predict Your Future book. On this line we find the perversion of Libra of reality as unreality. It is the deceit, the deception, the intrigue and the treachery that the ego uses to justify its position. We must be careful to correct the tendency to lie, to fib, to expand on the facts so that they are slightly distorted, so as to suit one's needs. And we must see that we do not allow our imagination to make us believe that we have an attainment we do not have, or to make us rationalize the deliberate betrayal of the laws of society to the detriment of the interaction of life streams. This brings us to the misqualifications of this line: dishonesty, intrigue, and treachery. These are the misuses of the ego. Remember the 3 o'clock line? Well, the 9 o'clock line is right across from the 3 o'clock line. Elizabeth Clare Prophet explains, now we come to the miscreations of the physical quadrant typified on the 9 o'clock line as the record of the misuse of the ego. It's the other side of the pirate of the 3 o'clock line. The ego, in its own defense, must use treachery and intrigue, the undercover, underwater consciousness, the slimliness of getting away with as much as it can get away with by subterfuge. As always, you might be able to feel these energies within you when you are on this line, or they might be directed towards you by others from the outside. The hierarch of this line is Mighty Victory. He's very special. Mighty Victory from Venus and the Lords of Individuality serve the hierarchy of Libra. Victory keeps the flame of God reality for mankind. He requires us to determine the difference between our real self and the unreal synthetic self that is a product of centuries of self-deception. Mighty Victory came to serve the evolutions of Earth in the 1930s and answer to Saint Germain's call for assistance. He is known as the Tall Master from Venus, and he has legions and armies of light in his command. He embodies, for the evolutions of this solar system and beyond, God's quality of victory in everything we do. Victory is a flame, a consciousness and awareness of God, which eons ago this Master from Venus determined to manifest. His name has long been dissolved into the flame that he determined to be. Mighty Victory and the Great Divine Director are like two ends of a spectrum. The 12 o'clock line begins the spiral of a project, the correct divine matrix, and the 9 o'clock line initiates it into the physical quadrant. The minute you try to precipitate on the 9 o'clock line everything that has gone before, the blueprint, the planning, the logistics, you come into the blockages of the physical plane and physical karma, which are great. And there stands victory, inflamed with the quality of God reality, and He helps you push through because you are real. Through Him, you can bring every project to a victorious conclusion and fulfillment in the physical plane in your life. Aren't you grateful we have this powerful being, mighty victory, helping us on the 9 o'clock line? As Elizabeth Clare Prophet said, the physical plane can be difficult due to the blockages and karma we encounter there. But mighty victory is by your side. Just call to Him and experience His greatness and victorious energy. Alright, let's move on to another very special line, the 10 o'clock line, where we find Scorpio and God vision. Sometimes it can be hard to hold a positive vision for yourself or for others. This includes the vision for your own life and your mission, or the vision for your children. That's challenging when they get older and do things they shouldn't do, isn't it? In those moments, your mastery of God vision is being tested. Can you hold on to the immaculate image of them, or of a specific situation? Can you see God's perfection in others? Can you see and feel a perfect vision of God that holds a bright future for each of us, no matter how stuck in the mud we can be at any given moment? The misqualifications of this line are selfishness, self-love, and idolatry. I think we live in a very selfish world, and many people don't look to the right or to the left, but just at themselves and their success, money, victories, etc. Many fail the tests of this line because selflessness is unknown to them. Scorpio is also a water sign. It's about the emotions in the physical plane on this line. And these emotions can make us extremely self-centered if we don't keep an eye on the higher vision for ourselves and others. As I said though, this line is special, and that is because of its hierarch, Elohim Cyclopeia. It is the only line on the clock that has an Elohim as its hierarch. So there's a tremendous power here. But who is Cyclopeia? Cyclopeia is one of the 7 mighty Elohim, the 7 spirits of Revelation, who sit before the throne of God. He is also known as the Elohim of music, and it is through the music of the spheres that he governs the activities of speech, hearing, and sight. Cyclopeia and the Lords of Form occupy the 10 o'clock line of the hierarchy of Scorpio, which teaches the correct use of the creative energies through God vision. One of the initiations of Scorpio is that of single-eyed vision, which was lost when mankind took on the consciousness of a dual mind by partaking of the fruit of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. The Apostle James said, "A double-minded man is unstable in all his ways." And Jesus said, "The light of the body is the eye. If therefore thine eye be single, thy whole body shall be full of light." If we have this single-eyed vision, this knowledge only of good, we can have the light to create. Those born in Scorpio have a tremendous opportunity in this age, but they have to learn to discipline that water energy. Scorpio is a water sign in the Earth quadrant, and pass the test of living selflessly and pursuing the path of self-sacrifice in service to life. I think we've learned a lot here. Let's move on to the last line of the clock, the 11 o'clock line of Sagittarius and God victory. Isn't it nice to find the quality of victory at the end station of every cycle on the clock? Sagittarius is a fire sign. Elizabeth Clare Prophet says, "In order to gain our absolute God victory by the cosmic Christ Lord Maitreya, we have to gain the victory in all these preceding lines. Since it is a cycle and a circle we're speaking about, everything depends on everything else. The more lines you earn your victory on, the more momentum you take with you from one line to the next until you eventually arrive at the 11 o'clock line. That's the symbol of Sagittarius, raising his bow and hitting the mark with his arrow. You can also think of the old images of Roman emperors and generals being given a laurel crown after grand victories on the battlefield. That's a great image to keep in mind on this line. After passing your tests on the preceding 11 lines of the clock, here on the last line, you can emerge as a real victor over your cycles of testing and initiation. And with these victories in your pocket, you're ready to start the next cycle at a higher rung of the ladder of spiritual development. So what are the misqualified energies and practices that can keep us from securing our victory on this line? Resentment, revenge, and retaliation is the energy that opposes your God victory in Sagittarius on the 11 o'clock line. In Revelation, Satan is depicted as this dragon that goes forth to make war with the woman to prevent her from giving birth to the divine man-child. The dragon of our own carnal mind is pitted against our own soul, our feminine potential. But we find that we ourselves have created this dragon. It is a revenge against the light of Christ within. So here we have the misqualifications of this line. These three, resentment, revenge, and retaliation, are not all that uncommon in our world. However, this is not the way of God. We need to forgive and forget in order to move on. The Vile Flame can be a big help with that. You'll find a Vile Flame forgiveness decree and a forgiveness meditation on my channel. It is always good to end a 12-year cycle with the victory of that line and a clean slate to begin the next 12-year cycle. The hierarch of this line is Lord Maitreya. On the 11 o'clock line, Lord Maitreya, the coming Buddha, the great initiator on the hierarchy of Sagittarius, initiates us in the flame of God victory along with the Lords of Mind. He holds at inner levels the office of Cosmic Christ and Planetary Buddha. He was a student of Gautama Buddha and he succeeded his master in this office. He has a focus of illumination in the Himalayan mountains. As you heard, Lord Maitreya is the great initiator. He was Jesus' teacher and can teach us a lot too. You can also call to him for help daily. The Ascended Masters and Angels are really there for us. Just make the calls and ask for their help. Alright, we've come to the end of this video. The final video will be all about how you can find out on what lines you have karma, how to transmute that karma, and how exactly to change your future with the Vile Flame. Stay tuned. Thanks for watching and have a great Vile Flame day.